welcome back to a new YouTube video. In this video I'm gonna take you guys with me when I'm trying to make myself an altitude room. And as some of you maybe already have seen, I have moved to Bergen. I moved here together with my girlfriend, and now it's time to try to build an altitude room. I have the box altitude tent, but in this apartment there is not enough space for that tent, so therefore I was thinking that it's better to try to make an altitude room because that makes it easier to use, and I want to try to sleep as much as possible in the altitude tent or room. So that's also why I now will try to make a room that's very comfortable and easy to use. Because when you have a tent, that's usually quite humid and warm, but I think it's easier to have it more comfortable if you have an altitude room. So I can show you how it is at the moment. So this is like the first floor. It's still a lot of stuff here because we're still moving in. And here at the first floor we have a room with the generator. First I had it on top there, but the generator makes a lot of heat, so then it's better to have it here on the floor with the tiles. And I also have a fan to try to cool down the generator a little bit, to make the air that goes into the tent a little bit cooler. And I have the tube into this thing, and it goes through the floor and up to the second floor. And up here it was one big room, but now we made a wall here to split the room a little bit, so we can make like an altitude room here and then a walk-in closet there. But it's not finished yet, and as you can see, this is very homemade at the moment. I'm just trying out if it actually works or not. So here we have the bed, and it's usually like just an open room, but now we made a frame and we attached some plastic through it to close the room. And then I also just made an opening in the plastic and bought like a zipper. And here comes the tube from the first floor, and then it goes in there and through the wall into the room. And I can show how it is on the inside. I have the zipper here, and then I have this black fabric to close out all the lights, so it's very dark inside here. You can also see that I'm using a lot of tape trying to get the room up to a higher altitude as fast as possible. And I have slept in that room for 4 nights now, and we have a problem, and that is that it's very hot and very humid in the room. Like I said, that's usually a problem you have when you have an altitude tent or something similar. So until now we have used this in the room. It's like a fan, and we had also this one. It absorbs the water in the air, but it's still not good enough. It's quite warm. I think it was like 25 degrees in the room tonight. So now I will try to move the generator out here so it gets fresh air the whole night, and then we will see if it makes any difference. And it makes a lot of noise, so I think I will try to make some cover around it to reduce the noise a little bit, because I have neighbors. The generator is now outside, so I hope that will help with lowering the temperatures. And because I'm using the box altitude generator, I'm adjusting everything with the box app, so you can just turn on the generator here, and here you can adjust the elevation. So it's very smart, and here you can start a session, so you can track how many hours you have in the tent. And one thing I also like is that you can have like a schedule. You can schedule it to start every day at let's say 4 o'clock and end 8 in the morning. So then you don't have to think about anything. Morning. For the first time I slept okay. It was not crazy warm and the humidity was a little bit better. But at 2 o'clock my girlfriend had to go out of the room because it was too warm. But after that it was okay for me because it makes a big difference being one compared to 2 persons in the room. So I think I have to find a solution because it have to work for 2 persons. Eat session in my small storage slash training room. Last night in altitude tent was okay. Was a little bit too warm, a bit too humid. I did not have a fan inside the room now because every time I've used a fan I'm struggling to get the room higher than 2000, and I think now I have found a solution, and that's because we have like wooden flooring in the bedroom and I haven't covered that with anything. So when there is some circulation of air inside the room, the altitude drops because in some way the air is getting out of the room or something. So I think now I will try to cover the flooring with some plastic or something to get it a little bit more sealed. GG. Worked out quite well. So tonight we had our first night where we both were able to sleep in the tent without getting too warm, because we were now able to have the windows outside the room open, so then it was much colder in the room, and also because we were able to have a fan inside the room. It helped a lot. So now I have bought a lot of balloons, and you're probably wondering what is he gonna do with all the balloons, and I'm gonna put them under the bed together with a lot of our winter clothing. I want to use the space under the bed to get rid of some oxygen, because when it's less oxygen inside the room it will also take less time for the generator to get the room up to higher altitude. That's what I'm gonna do now, and hopefully my room will go very fast up to 3000 meters. It's now 1 week since the last update, and since then I have been sleeping at 3000 meters. It works quite well. It's not too warm here in Bergen at the moment, so I think that's also the reason why it's not too warm inside the tent. So I have got good sleep. It seems like the balloons and winter clothing under the bed helped, because now it goes quite fast to get the room up to a decent altitude. I'm quite happy with how the altitude room compared to the tent works, so I think I now will change the plastic wall I have in front of the room with something a little bit more nice, that looks a little bit better and that's a bit easier to use. So I will have to figure that out. And I have used quite a lot of time trying to figure out how to build an altitude room. The reason why I've done this is because I think long term it can be very beneficial to sleep at altitude whenever I'm home here in Bergen, because I feel that I'm responding quite well to altitude, and it's expensive and it takes a lot of time going to real altitude. And I'm not saying that the altitude room is better than the real altitude, but it's much easier. And when I'm only sleeping at altitude, I'm feeling normal in training. So that's why I really like to sleep at altitude. But the room is still not perfect, so if you have any experience with an altitude room or tent, please share it in the comments. And thanks for watching, see you in the next one, GG.